Justin's loose in my yard right now, grazing away, and I'm going to go catch him with this stud chain in my hand. Justin! Come here, Justin. Now I can make noise with the stud chain as he's coming towards me. If he was afraid of this, he would not come towards me and welcome me coming towards him with this stud chain. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on him and I'm going to explain in more detail why and how I use this. I thought I had explained it rather well in video 5, but apparently I did not explain it in a way that made sense to everybody. And these horses here are the calmest, most level-headed, easy horses you could ever work with. But this horse truly was wild for the first 3.5 years of his life, and I've had him for 5 months here with no other handling before me. If I had been misusing this chain on him, he would flip out right now. When a horse is upset, you can see it in their jaw, in their neck, in their stance. If they're fearful, you're going to see it. Now, here's the reason that I use this wonderful technique that I do believe every horse in the world should be started with this technique. This builds the deepest, most clear communication between horse and rider that you could ever have. And it is a foundational tool that makes all other training effortless because you have a go-to understanding. So, when you ride a horse in a bridle, if you put a Western bit on a horse, when you pull back on that bit, it has leverage. That leverage is applying pressure to their poll and to the chin strap. A horse's natural reaction when they feel pressure on their chin or their nose or their poll is to resist it. This is how they survive in the wild. Their flight instinct is all about their head being bigger and stronger to have control and get out of there. When you put a bridle on a horse and you pull back on those reins, you're expecting them to yield to pressure to the mouth, pressure to the nose, pressure to the jaw, and pressure to the poll. If you do not teach them to understand this yielding, then when you pull back, you're actually being mean to your horse. It has no concept why you're inflicting that on them. So I train them, thanks to Mark Rogers, how to understand this submission. Another point that we do when we ride horses, we put our legs on them and we assume by squeezing or kicking or spurring that they understand they should move forward. They have to be taught this, and they have a pressure reflex point right here. Let's see if I can move him in the sun a little bit. They have a natural reflex right here that's very ticklish, and this is just pretty close to where you use a spur. I'm not big on spurs, but if you were using one, you'd be hitting them with the spur right here, and the reflex is here. It's a general enough area. You teach them to understand this. When you're riding a horse and you apply leg pressure, you're literally pushing them forward into the bridle, which is going to have pressure somewhere. Could be jaw, could be mouth, could be poll. They need to understand to submit to this. By teaching them to do this with the chain, I am teaching him to yield to the chin, yield to the nose, yield to the poll, and this will transfer right over if I were to put a bit in his mouth. I won't. I'm not going to break him to a bit. I don't need one. But if I were, this would transfer over. When you teach a horse to understand this stud chain, this chain gives him comfort. It gives him security. If you've ever known anybody that has a service dog, when you're training a service puppy, when they are running free, they are a normal dog. When you put their service jacket on them, they're no longer a normal dog. They're a service dog ready to work. It's not abuse. It's not mean. It's an understanding that they know when this jacket comes on, it is time to work. When I put this chain on him, he knows it is time to work. So again, I used his pressure point here that they reflex from, and my amount of pressure that I've ever applied on this is nothing, okay? And I did have the person who implied that I used this inappropriately, that possibly I was using it differently off camera. Again, if I were, this horse would not be standing here like this. He would be running away from me when I'm doing all this crazy stuff around him because he was wild 5 months ago. So this chain has taught him how we communicate and that he can trust me. I touch the reflex spot here and I touch the chain and he submits his head. If you think this is a silly technique, go home and see if you can get your horse to put his or her head down to the ground. Go ahead and try pulling on the halter and see if your horse's head will come down. Or try pushing on the pole. See if you can drop your horse's head to the ground with the pole. He's still learning that. I haven't practiced it in weeks. I'm just doing it for this video. The amount of pressure I have on my hands is nothing. So I'm touching his side with my thumb, just touching, and then I'm just barely pushing down on his head. This is submission. This means he is trusting me and yielding to me, and he even comes for a hug afterwards because he knows this is us communicating and having understanding. If you cannot pull your horse's head down to the ground and hold it there, then if you get in a panic situation, your horse is going to pull back and resist, whether the horse is tied up, whether it's in a trailer, whether you're going down the road. If they don't know how to yield to these pressure points, then when a panic moment comes, they go crazy with them. So I live in a neighborhood where I can be going down this road and I could have a UPS truck coming one way, a kid on a skateboard coming another way, and a mother with her baby in a stroller right here. And I have nowhere to go. This horse lives off of flight instinct. He is a wild animal, and his survival skill is 100% flight instinct. That flight instinct takes over beyond anything else going on in the world. That's his entire way of living. I am asking this horse that when his flight instinct kicks in because something scary's happened, that he does not react to his natural flight instinct, but instead trusts me, turns to me, and understands that we will get through this together because I will protect him and we know how to communicate thanks to me using this chain. So go ahead and see if you can take your horse's head down to the ground and hold it here. Can you do that by pressure on their nose or pressure on their chin or pressure on their poll? If you can't do that, now see, he resisted me right there because I haven't been doing this lately. So now I give him a little reminder here, and then I come back and ask him to yield to the pole. If he can't yield to this pole, there will come a day that the shit is going to hit the fan, and his flight instinct is going to mean somebody's going to get hurt. Could be the rider, could be him, could be anybody else out there, the baby in the stroller. So this technique not only teaches him to be calm, safe, secure, trusting, we have a deep understanding and a deep communication. He won't need this chain anymore. I can do everything without the chain. The training is not about the chain. The training is about submission, 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 understanding. That's what it's about. So that's my video for today. We will resume our videos in episode order after this. Thank you. Hello, I'm Shelley Black, the creator of the Healthy Horse Holistic Handbook, and I wanted to welcome you to our Mindful Horse community. Now that you've downloaded your free ebook, you also want to sign up and become a member in order to enjoy our private members pages. So right now, real quick, go to the homepage of healthyhorseholistichandbook.com and sign up as a member for your ongoing exclusive access to product discounts. It's also important that you add us to your stored favorites in your email program so that you don't miss out on any of our emails by having them end up in your promotional or your spam folders. It's super easy. Our email is info@healthyhorseholistichandbook.com. And I'd still keep an eye on your promotional and spam folders because sometimes our emails still land there. So stay tuned for our fun and informative blogs, videos, and interviews, and we're going to do product showcases with special offers and great deals. I am so excited to share this Healthy Horse community with you, and be sure and share it with all your horse-loving friends as well. Have a blessed day.